got the signals for the Baltimore Colts. Unitas gives to Amici. The Colts are the world champions. Amici scores.
It's amazing, sensational, dramatic, heart-rending, exciting, thrilling finish in the history of college football. California won the big game. 5 seconds left in the game. You believe in miracles? Yes! Unbelievable.
This is Phil Steele.
This is Mike Burnham.
This is Wes Durham.
This is Mike Ashley.
Hi, this is Chuck Foreman, number 44 of the Minnesota Vikings.
Woo, mercy, this is handsome Jimmy Vane, the Boogie Woogie Man.
This is Coach Fry with Virginia Tech Football, and you are listening to Big Dog Sports Talk.
Are you ready to rock? Are you ready to roll? Okay, let's do it.
You're in the doghouse with Rick Watson on Big Dog Sports Talk, presented by Pulaski County Sports and Entertainment. Join us in the Family Fencing Studios and chime in on the McClellan Chiropractic chat line. He's keeping cool with help from Little River Heating and Air, but this show is straight fire. And now, the big dog, Rick Watson.
Rick Watson's got the mic, he's the big dog king. Cover sports so sharp, it's a New River thing. Virginia Tech fire, Radford pride too. Every stat, every play, he's bringing it to you. He's got that voice, deep as a valley, breaking it down, no dilly, no dally. Big dog sports talk, feel the bark. He's got the scoop, faster than a sprint. Calling plays like a coach, every word's a hint. From the courts to the fields.
Hey, how are you? Good morning. I made it.
Worth its weight in gold.
We made it. Back from Chapel Hill last night. No, hang on.
Let the games begin. Big dog sports talk, feel the bark, feel the bite. Bricks in the zone, every day, every night. From the Hokies to the Highlanders, he's got the spark. Big dog sports talk.
All right, there we go. We'll have to get up again here in just a second. Anyway, wild night last night at the Dean Smith Center. Wild night indeed. Kion Brown joins us coming up. We'll talk more about last night's game, college hoops. Damien Sordelett and David Teel here on the program. Hope everybody's doing all right, wherever you might be. All right, let's see what we have here. Good morning, everybody, by the way, in chat. Good morning, Steve. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning, Hokie Rocks. Prometheus. Hey, Paul. How's everybody doing? Morris, good morning. Opal, how's everybody? Yeah, late night last night. Late night. Hope everybody's doing okay, wherever you might be. We were in Chapel Hill last night. Got in bed, I don't know, upwards of about 1:30, 1:45-ish, something like that. So I hope everybody's well rested this morning. But for North Carolina, number 18 in the country in Radford last night. So this is going to be a commentary on what happened last night with the officiating, with the condition that you understand. I'm not saying Radford lost the game because of the officiating. So there's two different ways to look at it. Two different ways to complain about the officials. Good morning, Anthony. How are you? There were a total of 55 fouls called in the game. A college basketball game lasted 2.5 hours. A college basketball game. 2.5 hours. 55 fouls. North Carolina shot 49 free throws. 49 free throws. There was no flow to the game at all. 33 fouls on Radford, 22 on Carolina. And all those officials will just get to run off the field, get to run off the court, and they will get their paychecks. And there won't be any discussion about their performance last night because it was really unfair to both teams. And I don't understand how a game like that, third game of the year, turns into what it turned into. If anybody watched it or listened, you understand. It was so frustrating. And again, this isn't saying that the officials hosed Radford or made them lose the game. It was just very disappointing. Akasha, it's Jordan, and it's not even close. There is no true debate on who's the greatest between Jordan and LeBron. That's just something that the younger generation decided to go with as a talking point. And it's not remotely in the same ballpark. I'm guessing you probably disagree if you're younger. Younger people are always going to go with LeBron. Right. But it was a frustrating game. Frustrating game. Because both teams wanted to play a certain way. North Carolina is a very physical team. They're going to struggle without Seth Trimble. They're not the same team. He's going to be out for about 2 months. You know, he got hurt the day after the Kansas game, and apparently they were working out in the weight room, and a weight bench collapsed on him and trapped him. That's what we heard last night from people at the game. So, Carolina people that work down there. So he had like the weights hit his arm, crushed his arm, broke his forearm, and he was just trapped there for a while. Terrible, terrible. So he's going to be out. But Carolina's not the same team without him. Team we saw last night wasn't the team that beat Kansas. But nonetheless, they beat Radford by 15. And considering how many free throws they shot, you know, Radford hung in. They weren't intimidated, and they played hard, and they were amped up. Great crowd. I mean, that's a blue blood down there. But man, oh man, oh man, it was tough to watch that game. No college basketball game should have 55 fouls. And no team in college basketball should shoot 50 free throws in a game, and that's what Carolina did. So there were just a lot of things called that didn't need to be called. Like I say, when you're there and the last second ticks off the clock and you've been playing 2.5 hours, it's not a college basketball game. But Radford going to have a good year. They get a couple of games they should win this weekend in West Virginia at the Greenbrier, playing up there in White Sulphur Springs, and we'll see what North Carolina does now without Trimble. But they're going to have to adjust and figure it out. North Carolina, they're going to have to figure it out. Hit us up in the McClellan Chiropractic chat room. Also, hit us up on the professional door text line. So, yeah, very, very sleepy, tired this morning. But that's okay. We're here. We're here. And that's all that matters. Showing up is half the battle. And that's what we've done. I'm getting all of your T-shirt requests. I'm going to be tomorrow. I think I'm going to have a bunch of shirts with me down at Radford at the Dedman Center. So anybody who's paid, anybody who wants to come by, that might be the best way to pick up your shirt. So $20 if you can pick them up locally, and then $27 if shipped. Send me a text or a DM. But we will get you your shirts. They're very nice, as we've said. Hey, Morris, good morning. Better to look good than to feel good. Well, I don't have either, so. Hey, that's true. Radford covered the spread. Vegas is very happy. Hey, Rodney. Morning, Rick. Refs wouldn't let the teams play. No flow. Radford with a couple of former ACC players. Yeah, it was just the officials turned it into a hard game to watch, to call, to I don't know. It's just that's not what it's supposed to be from an officiating crew. It's just not. You're not doing your job. Knicks fan. Jordan is not the most hated player ever, but he is the GOAT. Yeah. Yes, he is. The Wilson occurrence Roblox. Again, Carolina shot 49 free throws. Think about that for a second. 49 free throws. But again, this isn't a commentary that the officials gave the game to Carolina. I'm not saying that. It was a poorly officiated game for both sides, but particularly from a Radford standpoint. Speaking of Jordan, when you're down at Carolina, his presence is everywhere, as you might expect. Jumpman is all over the place. And I mean all over the place. Whatever the over-under was, Paul, they passed it on foul shots. But Radford did cover the spread. Spread, we ended up 18.5, and they lost by 15. Hey, Carrie, good morning. I think it's day 3 for you. Wow. Welcome. Welcome. By the way, now that we have the expanded audience on the 2 streams, since we were promoted, sometimes you're going to get a lot of bot comments in the chat, so I just get rid of those. So if you see something for a moment, it's not one of the community. It's just that's what happens on YouTube, which I was told was going to happen once you got exposed to a certain amount of folks and all that. So don't worry about it. Ready, Set, Fun. Give Bob Christ a call. If you have a team or if you're trying to raise some money, they have a wonderful Ready, Set text message for you. Bob Christ, BOBCRIST, the number 11 at gmail.com. Time and tested. They do a great job. They do a great job. I have not spoken to Marva since the game. I have not. I have not. Hokey Rocks. Jordan is the original jump man, though. Mario was not correct. Although Mario's got a good case. Thanks to Professional Door Incorporated for sponsoring our text line. Travis Williams, 38 years in business. If you want a job, go see him up in Dublin, right across from New River Community College. Garage doors better than anyone. Thanks to National Bank, member FDIC, the exclusive banking partner of the program. BDST fan question of the week, brought to you by the attorney Ryan Pry. We are... It looks like people think it's going to be Georgia Tech and Pitt for the most part right now. That's our question. Who do you think is going to be in the ACC championship game? Little River Heating and Air, 1095 Radford Street. 540-553-2971. Go see Charles Lee if you're local here and get your heat units checked out. Thanks to Pulaski County Sports Entertainment for being the presenting sponsor of this program. And don't forget, they're going to open up the racetrack once again this spring, and they're going to make sure it's done correctly. I think even the last few years it was open, it wasn't the place that it was originally meant to be, and I think now they're going to fix that. They're going to put good people on. It's going to be great. It's going to be great. Congratulations to them. Just one of the many, many things that they are doing. Mark Hunley is over off of Pepper Ferry Road, McClellan Chiropractic. And if you got back issues, body issues, and you want to go get diagnosed and get on there and let him try to fix you up, you should, because he's got everything you want to need. Go see him. Go see him. Tell him you heard us talking about it on the show. You will not regret it. Thanks to Jason, everybody at Family Fencing. They're going to work through the wintertime, by the way. Any kind of fence you want, all the materials, free quotes, payment options. You can put it on a payment plan. 540-200-8294. Thanks to Harvey's GM in Radford. This should be your next vehicle purchase from Harvey's GM, NRV Super Bowl, 382-5525, and Lawson's Motor Home Supply since 1997. Give James a call, 540-381-8011. Thanks to all those folks. Hey, Morris, good morning. Hope you're doing well. Yeah. Thank you, by the way. Just got a contract. Yeah, if anybody wants to sponsor, I'm telling you, we got a lot going on, man. Thanks to everybody again for getting us over 700 subscribers in a very short amount of time, I think. Yeah, we just hit 3 months. That's good. That's good. That's what? That's math. That's 200 plus subscribers a month. Hitting all of our metrics, which is why you have two options to watch the stream. Thank YouTube for that. They promoted us a few weeks ago, you remember, and we're not getting the national promotion, but it's really cool. Really cool. Morris says, I haven't followed Radford basketball since Ron Shelburne. Ron Shelburne? He was a bruiser. Yeah, great player, man. Yeah, Radford's going to be good. They're going to be good. They are. And like I said last night, not blaming the game. I'm not blaming the result on the officials. You can give an honest appraisal of officiating without you thinking or without it coming across that, they cheated Radford. No, it's not what I'm saying. I hope people understand that. Carolina's a better team. They have a lot more talent. And nobody's saying they don't. But in any event, all I'm saying is let teams play the game. The officials were the story last night instead of the teams, either Radford or Carolina. And it was just, it's not what it's supposed to be. All right, I'm going to go get Balboa Creed. Hang on. I've been waiting on him. Hang on. All right. At least it doesn't feel like, we're living in Antarctica this morning. At least it's not that cold. We went down there in Neil's Chrysler 300, his brand new car. It's really nice, really nice. He's got those heated seats, man. I was just kind of sitting back on the way home. Felt really good. Really nice. But we had a good trip. Won't get to go to too many games with Neil. But I think that's the third time he and I have called a Radford Carolina game. But it's a nice place. It's a good place to go watch a college basketball game. And Hubert Davis needs a really good year down there. They have a new AD coming. Bubba Cunningham, of course, is leaving in the spring. And it's going to be one of those situations where when you watch their season, he knows he's got the pressure of this thing. He knows. And I think the people around there, just talking to some people, are watching it very closely. This team has underperformed since he went on that strong run. That's a program that really needs him to have a really big year for him to stay, I think, with a new AD. You watch when he comes out, kind of a lukewarm response from the crowd. He's a Carolina lifer, so they want him to be the guy. And I think he's recruited well out of the portal this year. The size that they've added, they're huge. But they're going to struggle for a couple months without Trimble. They need him back as quickly as possible. And he had a massive cast on that arm last night. But it's early. We don't know really much about any of these teams yet. We're just starting the second full week of college basketball. It's so early. And what you have to remember, and even with the teams whether it's Virginia Tech, Radford, whoever it might be, you don't know much about these teams yet because of all the change and all the additions from the portal. And a lot of teams have flipped completely over. Radford has a completely new roster. Not one player that's going to see the floor this year was on the roster last year. Carolina has a bunch of new players, 8 or 9 new guys. We played Western Illinois. Every one of their players came out of the portal. They were brand new. So you're not really going to get a great vibe for it. Let's get through November. Maybe you start to know a little bit more. How balled in are those players? How are the coaches adapting? You can practice in July and in the off season, do all these things. But how does it start to amplify itself as you go along? So it's going to be a very important, I think, non-conference for a lot of these teams. College basketball, you have to be patient, I think, with your squad if you go through some ups and downs. Because I think the November and December non-conference and all the places you travel and all the different matchups are going to pay bigger dividends than we've seen for a while. I believe you're probably going to see at least 75, 80% of the teams that we see at Radford or that Tech sees are going to have completely new rosters from the previous year. So, looking how you are picked to finish, Tech didn't get picked nearly as high as they should in the preseason poll and all that. Preseason polls are going to mean even less now than they have before, because these people clearly they just simply haven't seen these teams or these players together. So they're just kind of basing it on looking at some of the names. I vote on the Big South polling, and we had the preseason ballot, and I think 3/4 of the players that were on it were brand new to the league. So you're just like, I don't know how they're going to work. But it's early. So we'll see how it all plays out. It does feel like many of the teams in the ACC did a great job of restocking their rosters. So I think they're going to have a good year. Thank you, Wayne. Wayne says, what time did you get in this morning? Dedicated is Rick. 33 fouls called, 60 fouls in the game. Yeah, it turned out to be a terrible basketball game to watch or call because of the officials. Not saying that there was anything going on last night. Hey, Swish, good morning. How are you? Not saying there was anything going on last night, but now, of course, with all the questions we have and all the things that we have already been told, and it's been proven about the cheating going on in NBA, college basketball, mid-majors last year that they announced, now baseball. Radford covered the spread last night. Even in spite of the fact Carolina had an immense advantage with 49 free throws, Radford covered the spread. I'll be flying out there with the team, Joseph, when we go to Dallas. Take on SMU. Yeah, that's a good take, Morris. Seems to me that the portal does promote parity. Take Mike at VT. If he gets great players, he'll make the right rotations. Yeah, that it does. And I think, we've already seen, 3 Division II teams beat Division I teams through the first week and a half of the season. The mid-majors are standing up a lot stronger in some of these money games. Like Radford got paid to go to Carolina last night. But, yeah, it's in Kion Brown. We're going to talk to Kion. We'll get him to talk about it more. He mentioned this. I mean, he was all over this 2 or 3 years ago. So, yeah, it has, Morris. You're exactly right. Exactly right. Stakes in Dallas, that would be the goal, yes. Especially if it's coming out of the team's budget. Paul, yeah, I got that last night. I think right after we got there to the game, so I didn't get a chance to look at it. So Paul sent a text that Jeff Brom had been threatened. Is that what it was, Paul? I'm sorry. I didn't get a chance to look it over. Was that because of the California loss? Is that what happened in the wake of that loss? And you start to wonder, you've heard a lot of that stuff. You wonder how much of that's tied into gambling. Okay. So it was because of the loss. Yeah, I wonder, man. I'm telling you, I hope I'm wrong, but I think something maybe like that, something worse could happen, even worse than the games being tainted and fake. I'm worried that someone's going to act on this kind of thing. We're headed in we're on a very slippery slope. We're in a very dangerous path right now. And it's a shame. It's a shame. And I don't know how you pull out of it. ESPN dropping out of ESPN Bet. Finally, self-awareness finally prevailed. And that's been utterly embarrassing. That all ended the day they were talking about the NBA betting scandal. We talked about it here. We showed a picture of it up on the screen. And underneath, they were rolling the sign up now for ESPN. What a horrible network. Disney. Wow. But yeah, coach getting threatened because of a loss. I mean, it's where we are. It's where we are. But, that's been going on a long time, unfortunately. It's just now maybe with more social media and with more ways to keep up with stuff. Maybe we're just hearing about it more. That used to happen back in the 50s and 60s as well. Usually it was probably boosters. I don't know. But absolutely. Absolutely. Damien Sordelett and David Teel join us a little later on, but there is the man, Kion Brown. Good morning, brother. How are you?
Rick Watson, what's going on, bro? How you doing, man?
A little weary this morning, but I'm here.
I hear you. But if Neil was driving, I'm sure you got back at a good time. That dude flies. I hope his wife isn't watching.
And we had his new Chrysler 300.
Okay. So you riding in luxury.
Yeah, and I always feel bad when I'm running shotgun. I don't want to go to sleep, right?
Yeah.
Man, I'm telling you, I got in that side of that. You got those warm seats. I was gone after about 30 minutes. We stopped and got food, and then I was gone after about 30 minutes. So,
how was the trip up?
It's fine. It's about, if you leave Radford, it's about 2 hours and 40 minutes to Chapel Hill.
It's not bad at all.
It's not bad. It's not
bad.
That's why we waited. That's why we waited and left. Well, I'm sure you watched. I mean, it was a game that's it's hard to assess because of the way it was called. And again, I'm not saying that the officials jobbed Radford lost the game for Radford. It was bad on both sides. It hit Radford harder, and that's going to happen. You know you're going to get a bad whistle when you go into a power gym. That's just the way it is. But 33 fouls. Radford had 4 players foul out of the game, 4 of them. Carolina shoots 49 free throws, and Radford still covers the spread last night.
Yeah, that was awful. It was so many free throws, and I was just watching. I was like, golly, it's 10 o'clock. The game started at 7.
2.5 hour basketball game, KB.
Ridiculous. Both teams shot awful, but I think one of the difference was it gave them a little home cooking was the fact that Radford shot awful and still had the lead early on, or was right there in the game. I think that's a problem for some teams, understanding that it's just not the home team's night, in this case Carolina, but Radford, who people in all intents and purposes call a small school, is sticking around. And like you said, with all the stuff going around in sports right now, you got to wonder a bit.
You do.
Right? You know what I'm saying without actually saying it.
Correct.
Right. Okay. We're on the same.
And we had people, you set up when you're on the road, there's a press row set up.
Yep.
I don't know if you've been there.
We called the game together 2 years ago at Carolina.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. You were with me. And those people around us, and they like to talk to you during the broadcast, and everybody was kind of already on board with that. They were talking about it. Like, this is Radford's going to cover the spread. And all these things are coming about, you know. But I don't know. It was frustrating. It was disjointed. It was bad for both teams, especially against Radford.
Yeah.
For me, just talking about Carolina was big, but they weren't very physical. You can be a big team. They didn't necessarily show me they were a physical team, right? The kid from Arizona is a tall, lanky guy. He's not necessarily – he dominates the rim, and he's got incredible skill. What did you think when you watched Carolina? They're going to struggle without Trimble, aren't they, for a while?
I think so, but Caleb Wilson is the best player on that team. That guy's unbelievable. You know, he got those 2 fouls early yesterday,
he's
but
a freak. He's
still
lanky
finished.
too.
He's ridiculous.
Too. Yeah.
But this might be the best class of freshmen as a whole in the history of college basketball. The first 13 picks of the draft can be all freshmen. That's how good it is.
Oh, coming up this year? Yeah,
absolutely.
College basketball? Yeah.
Yes.
Absolutely.
My goodness. We talked about Neil Abdulas. We'll talk about him later, I guess. Oh my God, where'd they find this kid? But yeah, but with Carolina, it's like I was never sold on them like everybody else was. And Seth Trimble being out doesn't help. Now you're asking Caleb Wilson to be Superman when he is really good, but I'm not sure if he's one of those guys that can just take over a ball game.
That's a good point.
That's what I think. He's really good. He'll be he'll be a lottery pick, but to ask him to take over a game, I don't think he can do that yet. Right?
No,
he needs the supporting cast around him.
Yeah.
Right.
He can't finish at the rim yet.
Yep.
He missed a lot of bunnies last night. He was frustrated, but he's got to learn how to, finish a play. He'll get there.
In a much improved ACC, I'm still not that sold on the Carolina. I just haven't been. But I've never been a Hubert Davis guy. I just haven't been. I get it. He took him to the national championship, but those were Roy's guys.
Yep.
Right. You are up against Carolina. You're up against Kansas at halftime of the national championship game when David McCormick has 2 fouls and you don't attack him coming in the second half. And then they storm back because he had such a big half, knowing he didn't want to foul. There's just a lot of things that he does that I just don't agree with, or it's just like I question. Right. And this is a team that many people think is talented enough to be a second weekend team, but we'll see. I'm not there yet.
Yeah. Yeah. They're going to figure it out without Trimble. They don't have as much depth outside shooting than I've seen past Carolina teams. But we'll see, man. I think you're right. Hearing people down there, there's not a lot of people that are – in other words, if Carolina were to make an announcement, they're going to have a lot of people down there that are going to be like, okay, good. Who are we going to get? They appreciate his legacy. But, it's to a lesser degree, it's kind of like Brent Pry, right? He was a guy or Justin Fuente. He got here and he won with somebody else's players, Frank Beamer's players, wore out his welcome, couldn't wait to get him out of town. I think Davis, they're ready for change down there. So
they're ready for change. Last year, you get lucky. You got your president on the board for the tournament. That's how you get in.
Yeah, a few years ago,
right. A few years ago, you're the number 1 preseason team. Then you don't even make the tournament. The first ever number 1 preseason to not even go to the tournament. It's been bad for North Carolina, man. In my opinion, he hasn't lived up to expectations. You take that national championship away, which weren't his guys, and it's been an unsuccessful run for Hubert Davis, in my opinion.
No, 100%, because you're about the team 2 years ago, first team in the history,
Yeah.
like you said, be preseason number one, not make the tournament. The first Carolina team to win 20 games, have a plus ACC record, and not make the tournament.
Right. Yikes.
Yeah. So, but the Radford kids played fearlessly.
Yes.
Went on that 9-0 run despite the foul issues, took the lead there for a while. Crowd got quiet for a few minutes, and then for reasons, here comes free throws. But
yeah, Dale Jones seems like he's going to be really good. That kid can play.
Yeah, Clemson guy. He's got a little chip on his shoulder.
Yeah,
a little bit. You could.
And like I said, I've always been a Dennis Parker guy. I'm biased. He's from Richmond, but he's
good.
Well as well.
You've talked about him for a while. He might end up being Radford's best player.
Probably so. He can do it all. Great defender, offensive player. He really has no weaknesses. No, he's aggressive. He's not afraid of the moment. I think Jalen Johnson's gonna get it going as well. He's a guy that can really go. So
he can.
I think Radford has 3 guys who they can really depend on, especially come conference time. Radford, I think, will be fine.
Yeah, I do too. And I think about you because you were on this couple 3 years ago about how the portal was going to bring a lot of parity to. We're seeing it all over the country, right? We're seeing, and we don't know what we have. I know you've called some games as well for Longwood already. You don't really know, do you? I mean, you're sitting down, you think you might know, but teams are going to have to develop, even teams like Carolina. And we're going to know a lot more after the non-conference issue. We're going to have a lot more education than we've had, I think, in past years about team
right. And the high majors know that as well. I was looking at High Point schedule yesterday. They don't have one Power 4 opponent on the schedule. Like it's incredible, and it's a testament to High Point because there's not a lot of teams that really want to play them.
Correct.
Kind of like Robert Jones and Norfolk State as well. Nobody wants to play them. When you are a consistent mid-major program, everybody shies away. There's only a few programs in college basketball at the high major level that don't care who they play against. One guy is an old school guy, might be the most old school coach in college basketball, in Michigan State, and Tom Izzo. Those guys always have the toughest non-conference schedule. Don't care who they play. They want to play as many NCAA tournament programs as they can. This year, they've got 5 top 15 games. I wish more programs was like Michigan State and Tom Izzo. Who cares who you play? It gets you better in the end. That's the goal, to be the best team that you possibly can. That's why I like Radford's schedule. It's kind of tough right now, but by the time you get to league play, you've been there, done that. You faced a lot of adversity, and then you'll play, I guess, quote unquote, lesser talent or lesser schools, and then your guys will be more comfortable on the court.
Yeah, agreed. Kion Brown joining us on the program, our basketball correspondent. College hoops is underway across the country, and you don't know who the best teams are yet. The polls are always kind of silly. We kind of have an idea of who might be good and who's not, but everybody's kind of taking a wait-and-see approach. And I think that's what we're going to do as well throughout the season. But frustrating game last night all the way around. But Carolina's really talented. They are. Wilson is a special player. If he develops a little more consistency offensively, it's going to be scary watching him. His 1 year in college could be special down there. So
right. I think he's a guy who can develop. As long as he, keeps his focus on getting better, he'll be fine. And everything I'm hearing out of Carolina is that he lives in the gym. And you can't hate a kid who does that, who wants to get better, who understands how to get better, who's asking coaches for extra reps, asking coaches for extra film time, and then it's translating in the game. You saw that game he had versus Kansas. He dominated. I mean, he's been consistent. But so has so many other freshmen in his class. It's been really fun to watch early on. It's only been a week, but especially next week, you'll start to see a lot of teams or a lot of guys' names start to ring bells a little bit as these Thanksgiving tournaments start. You'll see a lot more freshmen. You'll hear a lot more of them.
Agreed. Well, he's going to be a good one. Be a good one. Lots of rumors about how much he got paid. I don't know what the truth might be, but guys like that, you wonder too, how much do you think you're going to see these guys? I don't know what's the rookie cap for a guy coming out of the draft now?
Well, it depends on the rookie draft in the NBA goes off of what pick you get. I think if you're the number 1 pick, you make like $40 million. The second pick's like at 35,
okay.
Thirds around 28.
So it does behoove you to go ahead and go in the draft. Okay.
Right, it does. The higher the pick you are, the more money you get.
So he could be a top 5 pick, so he needs to go ahead and come out. Sometimes I wonder if these guys might go, if I'm making $3 or $4 million a year, it's what Baycott did. Right. He knew deep down he wasn't going to be an NBA player, and he wasn't. He never got a good review when he went to the camps. And he stayed and collected more and more money. And, I don't know where he is now. But
he was in the G League for Memphis.
Is that where he is?
G League. Yeah, he was. But the cap is going to go up for the rookies this year because of the new TV deals. So the salaries improving for everybody. Like Luka, he'll have the chance, I believe, to make about $700 million. The cap and the contract is going to change again in 2 years. So it's like, that's why he signed that 3-year extension with the Lakers, because he knows that in 2 years, he'll be able to make even more money. It's ridiculous.
I wonder how the networks, how do they have that much money when nobody's watching the NBA, right? The ratings are so far down. I don't understand how they signed that contract. That's the one good thing that Adam Silver's gotten done over the last 5 years. Wow.
Yeah, the best things Adam Silver's done in the last few years is the NBA TV contracts, and then also the Cup. I love the Cup. I think he's done a fine job with that. Guys are playing hard. They want that $500,000. They play hard in those Cup games. It's almost like playoffs, dude. They really do. And we said that, I think it was like 2 or 3 years ago when it first started. You could just tell the difference. But it's good basketball early on.
The other side of that is they had to do that because they knew guys were dogging it and didn't care about the season. So there's the other side of it. I'm the opposite. I think it's kind of silly to have to do that in the season. But you're right. Guys are playing because it's more money. It's more about me, so I can make more money. Yeah.
I'll take an extra $500,000.
Yeah, but it is an indictment on your product when you have to do that. Hey, look, guys, I do care.
Yeah.
No, they don't really.
Yeah.
They want to be paid, but I don't know how much they actually care. But anyway, we'll see what's going on. Where are you traveling next? Who you got next?
I got Longwood and James Madison tonight.
Oh,
that should be a good
Dukes. Them Dukes.
Yeah, that should be a good one.
Is that down in Harrisonburg? They coming to Farmville?
It's at Longwood.
It's
in Farmville. Yeah,
James. So you hitting the road.
Yep.
Ooh, that'll be fun. That'll be fun.
It'll be a good one.
If you see their AD Matt Roan, tell him I said hello.
I surely will.
I don't know whether he's going to be traveling or not. I hear he's got a lot of things going on with his football coach right now. So
okay,
we'll see.
We'll
see.
About that. Yeah.
All right. So what's up with your Commanders? I got to ask you. Not only losing, the record notwithstanding, boy, they look like a dirty football team the other night. What was that? The punch, and then when the
new footage came out with the punch. I don't know if you saw the new footage that dropped. St. Brown actually punched Deron Payne first.
Did he?
There's new footage out. There is.
Okay. Well, no, I didn't see that. How about
but the second guy always gets caught. We already know that.
Well, it makes more sense because it didn't make sense why all of a sudden he looked at St. Brown and just decided to punch him in the throat.
Yeah,
it didn't make sense. Yeah. And then the guy scored and threw the ball right at the camera girl.
Yeah, that ricocheted off of the back wall, though. I saw that as well. It didn't necessarily. Yeah.
But he fired it right. I mean, I don't know. That team looks like Dan Quinn's lost control of that team.
Yeah, it looks like Ron Rivera all over. No. It looks like Jim Zorn.
Jim Zorn.
If you're an old Redskins fan, you remember Jim Zorn, how bad that time was. I'm getting flashbacks. I was the guy on Sunday Night Football. They were like, where are you sitting? We were trying to look for you. I'm like, you're not going to find me on TV, but if you must, I'm the guy with the paper bag over his head. It's 28-0 in the second quarter on Sunday Night Football when we're honoring Art Monk retiring his jersey. Can you have some pride? Yeah, what are we doing, man? It is ridiculous. We might not win another game this season.
Tangisi says they're better than his Giants. Well, we'll find out.
No, we're not. No, we are not. We are lucky that we played you guys during week 1 coming off of the NFC Championship high. It's been awful since. We still got Miami, who just beat Buffalo. We got Philly twice. We still play Dallas. We got the Giants again. It is going to be a long season for us. I can't wait for it to be over. Hopefully we get a top 5 pick. That's what I'm looking forward to. And then you have to hit on that.
When my Broncos play up in D.C., that might
we still got Broncos, yeah. Forgot about that too. Still got Denver.
That might be a 9-6 game. I mean, the way how bad Broncos offense is, that could be.
But we have the worst defense in the history of the NFL. So you guys might actually score 40 on us, like the last 2 teams have done.
Isn't it crazy how quickly things? I mean, it looked like Washington was. I haven't gone to the Super Bowl, man.
Yeah.
What do I know? Nothing.
Yeah.
How quickly it can go the other way. I think Jaden Daniels is going to be a health hazard. It just looks like he's built. He got hurt in college some, and now I don't think he's ever going to stay healthy.
I mean, you got to build the best offensive line possible for him. I mean, he's out there running for his life. I mean, when I went to the game versus, it was embarrassing how bad the offensive line was.
Yeah.
I mean, you need to put all your resources into protecting him. We haven't had a franchise quarterback in my lifetime. So when you got a guy as good as him, you have to make sure he's protected somehow, some way.
Yeah.
The only reason he broke or dislocated his elbow is because as soon as the ball was snapped, it was 5 guys around. He had to run.
Yeah.
It was a freak accident, but it was not his fault. Protect the guy.
Agreed. You would think when you invest that high of a pick,
right,
in your franchise quarterback, you would think that should be your biggest offseason priority, right? Okay, let's make sure we have the big uglies up front. We got enough skill guys, and they didn't do that. So it's crazy. It's crazy.
Yeah.
Who you working with now on the lawn? Was that not? Did I see you? I saw your highlight reel. That was really cool. That's well done on the highlight reel. I need you to do stuff for the program.
Absolutely, yeah.
Who's it's not Sam? Sam? Not
that was Sam. That was Sam.
That was Sam.
Yep.
Sam looked a lot different to me.
Sam's looking good, man. I got 3 games with Sam this week.
Yeah.
We got today, Wednesday, Friday, Saturday.
Well, tell him I said, hey, I'm glad he's still there. I wasn't sure that was him or not. I just didn't.
Yeah, that was Sam.
I didn't see it.
Sam's been there for a while. He hasn't been there as long as you. I think you're the elder statesman of the Big South when it comes to you and Coach McGuire, the 2 elder statesmen of the Big South.
All-time winningest coach now for women's hoops in Bradford. Hey, it was
congratulations to him. I have one of their road games this year too on December 18th. I forget where it is though.
Oh, that's cool. That's cool. Yeah, that was we stayed there and did Neil had to work the women's game, and I was trying to help out with all those kids. Education game. Then we
Education
left.
Day, yeah.
Yeah, all those kids. About 2,500 kids screaming their heads off. But it was good. It was a good vibe. Good vibe. And a good win. Good win. So we'll see. All right, brother. How's class going?
Class is going. Dude, I'm trying to make it to Thanksgiving. We got 5, 6, 7, 8. We got about 10 days until Thanksgiving break. We're off for pretty much the whole week, and then we're back for 3 weeks, and then we're off for Christmas for 2.5 weeks. So I'm just surviving, dude. I'm scratching and clawing.
Every time we ask him about his kids, he just can't wait to get away from them.
If we get a 3rd quarter like we did last year, I'd be so grateful. There were so many snow days where the 3rd quarter was shorter than the 2nd quarter. The 2nd quarter is always the shortest because it's Christmas and Thanksgiving in there. But last year, 3rd quarter was shorter than the 2nd. If I can get another one of those, man, it'll be summer before you know it. But I'm not trying to think that far ahead.
Have it in the rearview mirror.
Yeah. And I saw you woke up today and chose violence. Michael Jordan is not better than LeBron James. He is not. He is not.
No, it's not.
LeBron's the better young player. He's the better old player. He's the better middle player. Had Michael Jordan been a bust, he'd be Darius Miles. He'd be Adam Morrison. That's who he'd be. But if LeBron had been a bust, we'd still be talking about him like we talk about Kwame Brown.
Michael Jordan's prime was much better than LeBron's prime.
Michael Jordan played with house money in more ways than one.
Well, maybe literally.
Yeah.
But LeBron may be too. We don't know yet.
Could be. But LeBron, when he passed Michael Jordan in scoring, he did it in 1,000 less shots.
Yeah, but you see, he's also probably, I don't know if you can say he benefits from the way the league has evolved since he's been there.
But he's been in the NBA for 20. Dude, you were in your early 30s when LeBron was drafted. Maybe even late 20s.
I was. Well, and that's the thing, too. It's like you didn't grow up with Michael. I know you've seen highlights and all that, but to know the impact that he had, not only in basketball, but the world. LeBron
I understand that. I was born in the 90s. I was born in the early 90s, so I got it. I remember it a little bit.
But you were a little guy, though.
I was a little guy, but I remember my brother and mom watching those games. We were living in Blackwell Projects. I'll never forget. And you hear that whatever, the Bulls music. And I remember like they were surrounding that TV, wondering why I couldn't watch cartoons. They wanted to watch this bald-headed guy sweat on it. But I remember it,
He's also a much better defensive player than LeBron ever has been. What does he make? 8 straight defensive, all first team.
Yeah, and did you see the study they had on that when they went back? And they say they're counting them for non-steals. You actually had 3. Somebody actually went back and watched the tape. They were stat padding. So I think some of this gambling stuff was going on even back in the 80s.
Dude, it's been going on since.
Yeah.
I think it's been going on since baseball, when baseball ruled the world. I think it was going on back in the glory days of the Depression. I think this thing's been going on forever. It really has. It's just now we have so many ways to talk about it like this and social media. I mean, it's going to be – the NFL is going to have the lid blown off too soon, isn't it? It's going to happen.
Something's coming, man. I mean, something's coming. Something big is coming. I just feel it. They're going to try to keep it on the low as much as possible, but at this point, it's inevitable.
Yeah. It's unfortunate because I got to be honest, KB. Sometimes I just watch and you see stuff happen. You're going, I'm not surprised anymore. I don't know.
Right.
I wonder how much of what we're watching after all these years hasn't been legitimate, and that's a shame. I hate to feel that way as a sports fan.
Well, Donahue's already said it's not legit. He's told you for years how it goes down.
Right. And people didn't want to. People tried to say, "Well, he got caught, so he's coming forward." No,
right.
The things that he said has come to fruition, and he was part of. He's already served his time.
Yep.
He served his 15 months. He's got nothing to lose now.
Nothing at all.
So I don't know. I don't think he's making it. I agree with you. I don't think he's making it up. I mean, he was right in the middle of it. He knows exactly how it works. The officials. And he's talking specifically about officials and how they influence things.
Right.
So I don't know. Wayne asked, which Space Jam was better?
Can I be biased? Or you want me to be unbiased? The one with LeBron was better. The one I got all the memorabilia. I got his producer's chair. I got his pants that he wore in it. So it's the second one.
The one that was out the theater in like a week because nobody went.
But come on, I'm going to get you. I'm going to get you. Space Jam 1 numbers were so bad in the movies, it had to be released in theaters twice. That is a fact. That is a fact. It's one of those movies that aged well with time. It's just like my favorite movie, Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory. It didn't do great in the movies at first, but it aged well.
You're talking about Gene Wilder, the original.
Gene Wilder.
Would you hear my little nugget yesterday? It's funny you bring that up. You didn't hear that? Okay.
I didn't.
So Gene Wilder, who was a genius, right?
Yes.
You remember at the beginning when we meet Willy Wonka?
Yes.
He's the cripple.
And he's limping. Oh, yeah. Yeah.
That whole thing, he told the director and producer, I am not going to do this movie unless you let me change this one part. And they said, what are you talking about? When he does the flip.
Yes.
And he comes out and he doesn't need the cane. And I thought it was very intriguing why he did that. He did that. If you go back and watch, he did that because he wanted to express in a subtle way that no matter what happens the rest of the movie, you know that I'm not telling you the truth.
Yep.
I get genius.
Yeah, it's my favorite movie of all time, dude. Did you see the new one? It's called Wonka. It's pretty good too.
No, but I do really like that movie too. The original.
Yeah. No, it's my favorite. Like
because of his performance.
Yeah.
But I thought that was very smart, right? He got rid of the cane. He was lying immediately. First time we meet him, he's lying.
Yeah.
Without saying a word, he's lying. And I thought that was brilliant. And he was ready to walk off the set. He said, I'll quit. You don't have to pay me. If I can't change the character, I'm not doing this. And they were like, whoa.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
And now it's just classic. Timeless.
And now it's the scene everybody remembers. So
it's a timeless movie. It's timeless.
It's pretty cool. Yeah. All right, I know I've kept you too long. You got to get the class.
No,
but I just like talking to you.
Yeah, man. Always a good time.
All right, brother. Have fun on the call, man, against the Dukes.
Will do. See you, brother.
Get to see us down in Radford. Don't be a stranger.
No. I'm definitely going to reach out to you, see if we can do a game sometime in January or something.
Okay, yeah. Come see me. Yeah, definitely. Yeah, we'll throw you on there. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, brother. Stay safe, man.
All right, brother.
All right, man. Take care. Good stuff from KB. I don't think I knew that Willy Wonka was his favorite movie. It's pretty good. Odd fact, Willy Wonka was fully funded by the Quaker Oats Company because they wanted to market a new chocolate bar against Hershey's. Really? Okay. That's the attorney, Ryan Pride, just bringing the knowledge. I kept KB too long there. We started talking about Willy Wonka. It is a good movie. I have to watch that here over the holidays. Once travel starts settling down, I'll have to watch that again. Morris, NCAA. Hey, Steve, good morning. NCAA and ESPN, they should receive joint Darwin awards, even though they're still alive somewhat. Mario Chalmers was better than Norris Cole. Yes, correct. In my opinion, the real Jordan has the better sneakers. Another iconic thing, the Air Jordans. Yeah. Well, if you didn't grow up, it always goes back to and this is the argument. This is why it's always fun. See, I don't think anybody's ever wrong, whatever your opinion is about players. And I like to give KB a hard time because I know, LeBron, he's always going to answer LeBron no matter what. But it's who you grew up with. It's who you watched. It's who you influenced. So I get it. And thank you very much, Tanjeezy, for subscribing. I see you subscribe, brother. Welcome, man. Love all opinions here on the program, Tanjeezy. Nobody has a wrong opinion. If it's your opinion, and I respect it. You know what I'm saying? It's how you feel about something. It's what I've always tried to do on the show. So, we're going to have good-natured fun with it. But no, I'm never going to be like, ah. But I think it's who you grow up with. I think it's who you are influenced by as a younger person is who we remember the most. Wayne counters by saying, I never saw Jim Brown, but I know he was the best. Yeah, and I think we had highlights. Sometimes you can't deny it when you watch the highlights and you see it and understand what he did during his era. Yeah, sometimes it just pops. There you go. My dad loves Magic Johnson, Tanjeezy says, and that's his greatest of all time. Mike Jones, the former Radford coach, the head coach at Greensboro, is going to tell you every time that Kareem Abdul-Jabbar is the best player ever, right? How he changed the game. So I think a lot of it has to do who you grow up with, without question. It has to do who you have to grow up with and so forth. All right. So Megan Duffy, the Virginia Tech women's basketball coach, wanted us to continue to remind people that coming up this weekend, there's going to be a new toy collection drive Saturday and Sunday to help donate to the Montgomery County Christmas store. So please help out Coach Duffy and Virginia Tech basketball this weekend for the doubleheader. And let's get some toys done for the underprivileged children, shall we? So that's this weekend. So we're passing along, Coach. We're going to have her on here pretty soon, by the way. Yeah, just what we do. But please, if you haven't subscribe, like, and share. It's free, absolutely free. And it's pretty cool that we've gotten to where we've gotten in just 3 months as we continue to try to expand. Once we get to 1,000, we're good to go. I am a Broncos fan. Traditionally, I've been a Houston Rockets fan because Moses Malone back in the day, dating myself, was from Virginia, and that was the first player I'd heard from as a little kid from Virginia, and he played for the Rockets. And then I became a huge Hakeem Olajuwon fan. But really, I've kind of fallen out of favor with the NBA, with the way things are gone, the type of play that it is, and now they got the gambling stuff hanging over. I don't really watch a lot of NBA. But I was always a Rockets guy because of the Moses Malone connection. And I love Hakeem Olajuwon. I think talk about the greatest center of his era. Woo. And that's when big men were a lot more prominent than they are now in the NBA. Yeah. Yeah, we got a lot of Knicks fans, 10Gs. We got a lot of New York fans. We got a Knicks fan that chimed in earlier. Yeah. Absolutely. He's all New York teams. Got the Rangers, Knicks, Giants, and Mets. I got you. Absolutely. All right. Damien Sordelett joining us now as we start at hour number 2. The Virginia Tech football beat writer for the Roanoke Times. Hey, Damien, how are you, brother? Good morning.
Morning, Rick. And speaking of Moses Malone, my dad was from Hopewell, and after he graduated from Virginia Tech, he had got a job back home in Hopewell, and he went to a Hopewell High game against Petersburg, and because he wanted to see this center named Moses Malone, who everyone was talking about. And Hopewell played that four corners offense that Dean Smith made famous at UNC, where it was, my dad would tell me, Moses Malone would win the tip, Petersburg would go down, score with Malone, and Hopewell would hold it for the rest of the quarter, hold it for the entire second quarter, and then it's like, we're not going to let Moses Malone score 48 points on us in, what was it, 32 minutes or something like that?
Yeah.
But yeah, he said that was the first time he's ever seen a high school athlete and gone, wow.
Yeah, indeed. And, he was an undersized center in NBA and such a good rebound, just such a good player. Remember him vividly. Number 24 for the Rockets. But that's cool. You got a little bit of a Moses collection there. So, all right. So here we are another week. Tech still not without a football coach. What are you feeling right now?
Yeah, same as I did last week. I know the message boards were kind of hopping with reported James Franklin sighting, looking at houses. And I'm thinking, you're picking the coldest day of the year to come to Blacksburg to look at houses. That kind of got me. And then there was another one. Someone posted this on social media that this kind of made me start thinking a little bit that Penn State was getting close to naming its new coach. And that means James Franklin needed to act quickly so that way he could have a place to land and then get players to come to him, versus the new hire at Penn State being able to outmaneuver, outflank, and get those guys to stay at Penn State. So I feel kind of like last week, DEFCON 2. I'm ready for it to be announced. But again, we're on November 12th. It's still a bit early. But if things ramp up at Penn State's corner where they're going to make a hire, and if you're James Franklin, you want to bring some guys with you to your next stop, if it happens to be Virginia Tech, then you need to announce your decision soon so that way you can be in place and then the guys can follow you.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting. Like schools like Penn State, they've been very quiet, haven't they? We haven't seen much about that. A couple of names I know have been tied to it. We'll have to wait and see which direction that they may go. How all this is going to shake out, it's going to be so fascinating. You and I have talked about it, man, with all these openings and more to come. It's going to be a sideshow amongst, heading toward the end of the season and going into the playoff. This whole thing with the coaching carousel is going to be just an unbelievable thing to keep up with. It really is.
Yeah, and from Virginia Tech standpoint, if you don't get James Franklin in now, I kind of liken this to a game of Texas Hold'em where, say, Virginia Tech gets pocket aces and then the flop is ace, king, king, and you're thinking that's our James Franklin hand. No one's going to beat it, and so you push your chips all in, which they've already done, and you're hoping that everyone else folds and goes to their other options. And the longer this waits out, you're hoping that, on the river and the turn, you don't get, say, same suits of, like, say on the flop, you get an ace of spades, king of spades, and then on the river and the turn, you get some other high spades, and then someone's holding pocket spades that gets you a royal flush, and then all of a sudden they're like, oh, this is our opportunity. Let's push our chips in, and then we can raise Virginia Tech where they can't match, and it makes the offer much more appealing to Franklin. So Virginia Tech's hoping everyone else folds or no one gets to the table to see what the river and the turn look like. And because I think David Teel brought it up last week on the Tech Sideline podcast, Maryland would make a lot of sense for Franklin. Stephen Gottfried brought this up on a podcast a couple weeks ago when he was asking where people would land. They asked him James Franklin. He said Virginia Tech, and then paused and said, North Carolina State would be an option. And there are a few of us in the press box at Carter Finley Stadium in late September after Virginia Tech won at NC State, hearing NC State beat writers saying, "Oh, this might be the end of Dave Dorn." And we heard before the season there's a possibility he could beat UNC and beat Bill Belichick and then ride off into the sunset and to retirement. So, again, I think this is why Virginia Tech acted with urgency and made the best offer it could to Franklin, because it wants to get him in the fold before some of these other places come open where they can throw some money around. And so that's why I liken it to a poker game. You want to get there before the big names show up with their big old stack of chips and can come in and kind of make it difficult for you to win that hand.
You think they've offered? I've been told the complete opposite. I don't think they've made an offer. I think they've gone over parameters, because if Tech makes an offer, then no other coach or agent's going to talk to them, because immediately they're going to say, well, you've already made an offer to a guy. I don't think Tech's made an official offer, at least what I've been told.
Yeah, I think Tech, like you said, has set the groundwork for what it wants to give him.
Yeah.
Yeah, and the problem with doing it early is, again, you've shown your hand of what you're willing to go up to. And so that's why I liken it to poker, because now you've shown what your all-in looks like, how much that number is. And now all of a sudden people can say, well, I can go in and raise them if I like how this hand's unfolding. So that's why, again, Virginia Tech was probably trying to price out some other teams that could come in and make that move. So that way, I think Virginia Tech has said, hey, here's everything we're going to offer you.
I'm sure they've talked about numbers with Sexton. There's no doubt. No doubt.
I've heard best and final. And again, that's probably not an offer. That's probably, here's everything we can give you. Take it or leave it. And hopefully that works. I agree with you guys. It's not an official offer. It's probably, here's everything we can offer you. Here's everything that would go into an offer.
Yeah, because you're immediately at that point, you're telling everybody else, hey, we've got our guy we want, and no one's going to return phone calls, not even from Bruce Arians. At that point.
Yeah, and I've also heard Virginia Tech still in contact with other candidates in case this thing keeps stringing along and you don't get Franklin on board. You need someone ready for you. So
yeah. One of the things that I was told that they feel like Franklin is not really enamored with Tech at all is that if he wanted that job, he would have such an early advantage to go ahead and start with the recruiting process. I mean, this has been going on allegedly now for several weeks. So at that point, you could go ahead and get this thing done and say, this is where I'm at. Let's go out and let's start doing things here. It wouldn't bother what's going on in season, because Phil Montgomery knows he's not going to be retained as the head coach. So I'm starting to get that vibe a little bit too, that if this was a job that he really coveted, you can talk about all the negotiations and people say, well, they want to make sure they get the best deal. Tech, like you just said, Tech's offered their best. I mean, Tech has put forth what their best deal is going to look like. All right. They haven't offered, but I mean, so they know it's not like waiting any longer is going to get them more money. So what he's doing is he's trying to see and vet other places to see if those jobs would actually, want to talk to him and Sexton about their job. So,
yeah, and that's why I brought up, say, Maryland. He was a coach in waiting there under Ralph Friedman.
I know. Place he knows very well. Yeah.
NC State, another team in the Mid-Atlantic. And who wouldn't want to go up against Bill Belichick every year and try to beat him? I'm seeing everyone's like in Chesney.
Yeah, it's been my choice all along for coach and AD.
Yeah,
it's been my choice. I predicted Franklin would go there several weeks ago, but the guy that I think they should go get is Chesney. They've been burned once with the JMU coach going elsewhere. They don't want to let this guy get away. I think he'd be the best fit long term, and they wouldn't have to pay him nearly as much.
I agree. And then I saw someone mention this: hire Franklin, you're going to win. Your program's going to be good now. Hire Chesney, your program's going to be good for the long run.
Long run, correct.
So again, I think Franklin's still the top option, and that's a guy you want because he's going to bring in an army of staff, and he's going to build up the program and raise it to a level. And I think from a fundraising standpoint, he's going to bring in a lot of money from people who are invested into the program and excited about the hire, and they're like, all right, what can we do to help you out? I don't know if Chesney moves the needle that much, but all you got to say is look what Kurt Cignetti's doing in Indiana, and look at the resources Indiana is now putting into the program there. And Virginia Tech can say, we could have the same type of success under Chesney here.
100%. 100%. With that money coming in, why couldn't it be the same? It's in a much, if you will, easier league, to kind of make the playoff, from top to bottom than the Big Ten.
Yeah, and then what was it? I saw a podcast yesterday where someone's saying like there's apparently something working out where Eli Drinkwitz would leave Missouri to go to Penn State, and then Franklin would then go to Missouri to replace him. And I'm like, in what world does that make sense?
I know. It seems like a weird like if you're going to go to SEC school that's open logically, somewhere like Arkansas makes a lot more sense to me than Missouri. If that's what Missouri.
Especially since the Arkansas people are saying, like, apparently Jerry Jones and the Tyson family and everyone are scrounging up tens of millions of dollars.
Yeah,
because for them an eight-figure check is a drop in the bucket.
Yep.
Whereas 5-figure checks for people like us are like, man, how am I gonna? Man, I'm light on funds for this week. Can't do anything.
I know. Jones, of course, Arkansas grad, played there, and they're using that because he's going to give them whatever they want if they want to go get players. So they've used that as a recruiting tool for a coaching candidate. So you wonder how much attention that can garner from a guy like Franklin. You never know. A lot of poker being played right now, in other places too. Well, Tech has a game this weekend. Tallahassee doesn't look nearly as daunting as maybe it did a month and a half ago. What do you think? What are you feeling, Tech, coming off their second bye? FSU is obviously going to make a change at the end of the year. What do you think? What do you think is going on down there? And how do you think Tech's going to show up? I think they're going to play pretty well. That's a place they're pretty comfortable playing.
Well, they only played there since the 2018 Labor Day win. They've only played there once since then.
Yeah, they looked good in that last contest. I thought they were good in that game. Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know. The line's moved. It opened at 10.5 in favor of Florida State, and now it's moved up to 14.5.
Yeah.
So I don't know. Montgomery seems a little bit more optimistic about getting some players back from injury. I think Montavious Cunningham is one of those who's been listed as like a game time. Like he's listed as probable early in the week, and then gets downgraded out. Hopefully there's a couple more guys. He did say most of the players on the out list for the availability report against Louisville will probably be out for the rest of the season. And you're hoping you get a couple back, especially on the offensive line, to actually have a rotation instead of who starts plays every snap. Because you need an offensive line rotation to keep those guys fresh and healthy. I think Tech's going to play well, but it's also, someone asked me this, what version of Florida State's going to show up? It's going to be the version that shows up at FSU, granted without Castellanos there for the second half, showed up against Clemson, or is it going to be the team that showed up against Wake Forest and despite giving up 10 TFLs, still put up a ton of points? So I think this game will be more competitive than the Wake Forest game. I can see Tech running the ball well against them. And the key will be if Tech can get something going in the passing game. Now, I don't know whether that's Aiden Green. Is Donovan Green going to show up? He hasn't had a catch in 3 straight games. And do you hit some home run balls with a guy like Takai Heath, or do you get Jerikas Hairston leaking out behind everyone and then get him open for a big gain? So I think Tech's got to find something in the passing attack, so that way that opens up the run game and opens up the option element with drones. Because I think drones has the ability against this Florida State defense to get to the outside and pick up some yards. It's just going to be whether or not you can complete some passes. And
yeah.
And if you get them open and you get in their hands, get them to catch it. I agree with you, Paul. Find Benji Gosnell, best receiving tight end in the ACC.
I know. It's like Filmation's been all over that. This guy's going to get drafted. Somebody's going to probably spend a 6th, 7th round pick just because they see that potential. And we're going to hear about he's going to be in the league 8-10 years, and they're going to be like, boy, Tech didn't utilize that guy at all, did they?
I feel like it's going to end up being a Jalen Lane situation where the team that gets him, the offense coordinator, is going to be like, I didn't really see this on film. Then we get him here and we're like, wow, like we didn't expect this out of him. Yeah, though Gosnell's going to stick around for next year, no matter the coaching hire. He's one of those guys he's a techer. He's a tech guy. He's a Hokie. And maybe a new offense will suit him well. The only reason Jerikas Hairston's getting the red zone opportunities because he's kind of like that H-back in the 12 personnel where he's off the ball and you can put him in motion, and they like to run that Rutgers play with him where he comes in line like he's blocking, he chips an edge and then keeps going across the line of scrimmage.
Yeah.
I mean, they use him well in that. And so that's why Gosnell's chances aren't as great, just because Hairston has stepped up this year. But I agree, getting Gosnell involved will be huge because that's a safety valve. He's a sure guy, about as sure as his brother was at making catches. So, yeah, if you can get something going in the pass game, you don't need like a 300-yard performance.
No.
Give me 175 to 200.
That's all you need. Right.
To spread out the field, and that way you can get Marcellus Hawkins and Tyrion Stewart to go, because it's a lot easier to break tackles when you have to break just one versus 3 or 4 at the point of impact. So that's going to be crucial for Virginia Tech.
What time are you heading to Tallahassee? You leaving on Friday?
Fingers crossed the flights aren't delayed. Andy and I are in the same boat where it's like, hopefully we're flying out early enough. I'm flying out of Lynchburg 6 a.m. Friday. According to the American Airlines app, it's all green for on-time departure. And I've been checking this week to see the time. Like, so far, the 6 a.m. flight out of Lynchburg has taken off on time. Now I have to make sure the connecting flight to Jacksonville goes off on time. A couple more days to make sure we're good. And then Sunday, same boat. 5 a.m. flight out of Jacksonville. So I'm going to be booking it out of Tallahassee for the 2.5-hour drive across the state to Jacksonville for a 5 a.m. flight, and hopefully back home by around 8:30. Granted, no delays. So travel part I felt very confident in before the season started. Now not so much. So fingers crossed everything works out.
Well, safe travels, my friend. And we'll see what things look like, after that game on the field, and we'll see where we are with things off the field. So it's going to be very interesting.
Catch right back with Franklin. If I could, I would.
By the way, real quick, have you seen anything quickly as rejected as Salem Ridgeax has been rejected? No pun intended with the way you say that.
Gosh. I heard a mixed reaction in the crowd.
It's not mixed. It's about everything I've seen. Woo.
I noticed, like, the TV people, when they were interviewing fans about the reactions, it's the fans with the beers in their hands that were like,
That's not
Yeah,
bad.
I actually like it. And I'm like, well, how many beers is that? It's probably going to take some time for it to grow on you because they want to do something signifying the Blue Ridge Mountains.
Yeah.
I don't know where the yak came from.
Kayak.
Yeah,
Did you
and
hear
then
that?
Mac the Yak, the mascot, is named after McAfee Knob.
It's a reach, man. Yeah, it's interesting. There's an article I'm reading. Let's look over an article this morning before the show about it, and people are commenting. This is the most ridiculous thing. And they're going to sit there and defend it, but you create this new brands to sell merch. I don't think they're going to sell nearly as much merch as they had hoped.
Oh, there's a long line to get into the merchandise store for Saturday night.
Yeah.
I mean, it's either that or you could have gone to Danville Dairy Daddies, that team that was.
Yeah.
I mean, there's some options out there, but I think they had a few. Alan Lawrence told us they had a few options, and Ridge Jacks was the one they gravitated to.
I'd like to hear what the other options were. Do we know what the other options were at all?
Yeah.
It's a common thing to see the react down the river in Salem. Oh boy, they nailed it.
I'm down with the Salem Sasquatches. I would have been fine with Hellbenders. But in the Yak logo, they did put the Blue Ridge Mountains in his forehead with the backdrop of the stadium in the forehead, but you kind of have to squint and look at it.
Yeah, you have to really look at it.
You have to know what you're looking for. Which is why they spelled it out for everyone in the crowd.
Yeah.
I think the kids were excited because the mascot was there and they could buy into it. Again, the fans with a lot of alcohol in the system, similar to the shirtless bros in the stands, probably were excited about anything.
Loved it.
Again, I'm like, it's going to need some time to grow. There is a baseball in the logo. You have to find a baseball in his horn on the right side, on the left side.
Is that right? Right? Let me see.
There's a baseball stuck, and then the oar in his mouth is like bitten in half, and one side looks like the barrel, like the handle of a baseball bat.
It's a broken baseball.
Yeah, it's impaled in his horn, and then the bat in his mouth is broken. So one side is the handle of a baseball bat, and the other side's an oar.
Well, the one I'm seeing on the main logo, you got one oar up, and then the other one's in the water.
Oh, so there's a alternate one where he's biting down on a bat. That's
secondary logo.
Gotcha. The secondary logo, where you can see on one side it looks like the handle of a baseball bat, and the other side is an oar.
Oh, okay. Wow.
I want to know how much Learfield Creative got from them for designing this.
That's a good one. Now, of course, Playfly, not Learfield any longer.
Yeah, well, hey, they're probably going to sell merch. There's probably people around the nation that are like, that's interesting.
A lot of people collect all of the minor league baseball stuff. Yeah, they do.
Yeah. Though I'll say this, Bud Foster in that blue road jersey, he didn't look bad in it. So, and Paul, apparently the fans, the team listened to the fan input about what they wanted from a team name, which was something to connect the Blue Ridge Mountains, something to connect the things you can do in the area. And I don't know if they fed this into an AI part of the search for the marketing firm that did this.
What it feels like.
That's
what it feels like.
Fine-tune the logo and all the other stuff that came with it.
And it sounds like rejects. That's what someone brought up. You say it real fast 3 times, it turns into rejects very quickly instead of rejects.
There's also you're one letter away from it having the Yanks as the end of it.
Correct.
As a Boston Red Sox affiliate.
Yeah. Well, safe travels, my friend. Yeah. And we'll see what we're talking about next week.
Yeah, well, even the mascot, Mac the Yak, comes out to Yakety Sack. So there you go.
There you go. All right, brother. Stay safe, man.
Appreciate it.
Take care. David Sordelett. Hope he can get out of his flight or get his flight off the ground this weekend. Yeah, it's not good. And when you have to come out the day after or 2 days later and explain it again, that means you failed. They will never admit it because people don't want to ever take responsibility for anything. But that's where that is. Somebody did, and there was an article I was reading, and all the comments were bad. But whoever brilliant on Monday here said, and I've seen it pop up everywhere now because people are just watching the program and stealing our ideas or your ideas. Rejects. You say those two words together, it's the same sound. Show me somebody that's kayaking in the Roanoke River, Paul says. And to the attorney Ryan Price credit, I still don't think there's anything baseball related because just because you have a broken in half, at least on the main logo. I haven't seen the secondary logo. I don't know what the secondary logo looks like. I haven't taken time after I saw the name and the main logo, and then I saw the comments. I'm like, oof, yeah, this is bad. And of course, yakking means vomiting. I don't believe for 1 second they listen to any fans. Because if they'd have run this by a large group of fans, maybe they did get ideas from people, but the fans were probably a very selective group, like family members of people who work there. And I understand wanting to represent the area. That's what you should do, especially with a minor league baseball team. And I just don't believe Ridge Yaks covers it. You take yak because of kayaking. I didn't realize there was such a kayaking craze in this part of the country. I mean, everywhere I go, when I drive around, now that I think about it, I see kayaks just leaning up against everybody's houses on top of their cars. Wayne says he heard that. Wayne says that he heard that Witt led the mascot search. Tebow says, I heard they let first graders and Andrew Lewis come up with the new name. Whew. It's pretty bad. It's bad. If it were good, we would applaud it. It's not. It's not. Kayaks. Let's make the mascot a yak riding a kayak. That's brilliant. Thanks to Brandon, by the way, at Top Shelf. It probably looks backwards on your screen because that's just the way this thing goes. But he, of course, came up very quickly with our T-shirts after we had the design sent to him. Go see him, tsgraphicsapparel@gmail.com. Go see him. It's kayaking in Radford. I see people in boats fishing in Radford, but not kayaking. I know people go to the lake and they kayak some. The kayaks were placed there by the gifting yak. I don't know about you, but there's kayaks everywhere here in Reiner. Matthew says at least the yak is being safe and wearing its life jacket. That's true. Safety first. It's like Salem is like Thailand, where you can actually see a yak. Yeah, there's no actual, mammal here. The yak does not, show up when you're driving through, whether you're going down through Cave Spring and Elliston to get to Salem and then Roanoke. You don't see a lot of yaks. So you turned it into an animal that doesn't have anything to do at all with the region in which you belong. But yet, hey, we got the Blue Ridge stuff in there. And I was just looking, I blew up the forehead. I don't see the Blue Ridge Mountains in his forehead. I see what Damien's talking about. I think that's what they tried to do, but they failed. But you see, you can't admit it that you fail. Dairy cows, I could see. Yaks, not so much. Yeah. Why not celebrate the bovine? If you're going to ignore Bigfoot, you think how much great stuff you could have done. Salem Sasquatch makes a lot of sense. I'm buying merch immediately. There's so many things you could do there with a Bigfoot wearing a new Salem uniform. He could look angry, the bat be broken. You could do something, him hiding. You could have a lot of great promotions there. Come find the Salem Sasquatch mascot. Have a search for him, you know? See how smart that would be? But no, you're going to go with the Ridge Yaks. They're going to have bring your own kayak night. Right? Star City Slingers. That's pretty good. It's pretty good. I like that. The Star City Slingers. David Teel scheduled to join us here in just a little bit. And we get caught up with David and everything that's going on with him. We're going to talk to him about everything that's happening with the ACC more than anything, man. It's where this league sits, you know, from the football perspective. Pictures with the Squatch. Well, either that, Wayne, only show you, or pictures with the Squatch, and you're clear and he's blurry. He's blurry trying to run away from you. Maybe that kind of thing. I don't know. Good stuff, though. We're getting some great comments in chat. Please subscribe to the channel. Tell your friends. We're at 705 now, on our way to 1,000. Set your watches to come watch the Sasquatches. All this is better than anything from their marketing squad. Kudos to the Montgomery County Chamber of Commerce and all the things that they are doing. I'm trying to get Steve Bafuto on here, talk to him about everything. And just so proud of everything going on in Pulaski County sports and entertainment. 33 fouls, Jimmy. 55 fouls in the game. 33 fouls, and Carolina took 49 free throws. Now, did that lose the game for Radford? No. Carolina's better. But boy, a basketball game should never last 2.5 hours. They walked off the floor just shortly before 9:30 last night, the teams. And then both teams had cleared the benches the final 2 minutes. You know, at that point, it's just kind of playground ball. You're just trying to run out the clock. And on the slightest bit of contact, and the thing about the fouls that were being called, I bet over half of them were out on the perimeter. They weren't even fouls called because of physical play in the post. And they were calling fouls on the guys who were just getting out there to get some exercise. I mean, that's just not what it's supposed to be about. Radford had 4 players foul out of the game. 4. That's a lot. That's a lot. And you had 3 players saddled with 3 fouls in the first half, so those guys can't play. So it just takes away so much from the game. So, but that's not That's not how you're supposed to officiate college basketball. Let the game be played. You've overshadowed them. And the thing about it, we're sitting up there amongst Carolina fans, and every time they'd blow a whistle on Radford, the fans were frustrated. They're like, come on. Fans were getting frustrated by all the whistles against Radford. But this goes back to the whole accountability of officiating. When's it going to come? When do those guys have to answer questions after games, like Dabo said? Players have to do it. The coaches have to do it. You know, Zach Chu, Radford's head coach, had to come up. You know, we're up there about halfway, had to get on the elevator and come up and talk to us and then meet the media. Hubert Davis has to meet the media. The players have to meet the media. What about the officials who kind of changed the whole personality of the game? Wow, really? Good morning. Is that a real post? Good morning from China. I would never know how to say the city names. So I won't try. Guangzhou. Is that right? Yeah, the shooting was bad. Nobody could hit a three, and nobody could make free throws last night. It's a giant city next to the Hong Kong island. Okay, well, welcome. That's cool. Am I anywhere remotely close to pronouncing it correctly? Guangzhou, something like that. Yeah, I did. I picked up my third foul right before the under 4 media timeout. I had to sit out the broadcast, so I'm not remotely close. Okay. Sorry. Oh, well. I tried. I really, really tried. But, yeah, I did. Neil and I felt like we fouled out of the game last night. We did. We kind of felt like we fouled out too. Again, you don't go to a game and you don't want to sit there and talk about officiating. That's not what we're doing. Nobody wants to talk about officiating. You don't want that to ever come into play, you know. And I thought, you know, the first 2 games this year, especially, like for instance, the other night, Radford's playing West Virginia Wesleyan, and everybody knows how that game's going to go. West Virginia Wesleyan picked last in their league. They're coming there to get a little bit of money and to get their kids exposure. It was an exhibition game for them. And, of course, they don't have nearly the talent level as Radford. Radford overall doesn't have the talent level of North Carolina. You can compete now as a mid-major in the Big South at places like Carolina, especially early in the season, especially when they've lost the key cog, I think, to their team. And that's what happened, perfect storm last night. And Radford went on a 9-0 run. They led 19-17, and the crowd was, whoa. And then I think immediately after that, on subsequent 4 straight possessions, there were fouls called against Radford. I mean, it is what it is. But, you know, against West Virginia Wesleyan, the officials they knew what that game was going to be about. And I think they handled it well. I just don't think it was handled very well last night, because that's not what the fans want to see. It's not what anybody wants to see. When you have 55 fouls called in a college basketball game, that crew's not doing the job it's supposed to be doing. More whistles doesn't mean you're policing the game correctly. We'll get back to your comments joining us a little bit later on. Joining us now on the program, he's the Hall of Famer, David Teel. David, how are you, man? Good morning.
Good morning, Rick.
You look great. You got a new camera.
No,
it looks great, man. It's a good angle. Look at that. It looks very good. Very, very good. How you been, man? We missed you last week, but I know you had a lot going on and with travel and so forth. How you been, man? What's going on with you?
Doing well. Just it's crossover season, football, basketball. Virginia trying to win an ACC championship. Virginia Tech trying to find a coach. Both basketball teams off to good starts.
A lot going on.
got a James Madison team trying to sneak into the playoff. Last night was a little discouraging from the Duke's perspective with the CFP rankings, but we'll see how it all plays out.
Yeah, we will. Well, let's get into that because I know they were hoping for a little more respect on that and where they showed up, and it's going to make it pretty.
They didn't show up.
They didn't show up. Yeah, at all. Yeah. It's going to make it tough, isn't it, to climb back through?
It is. Rick, James Madison is the only team among this week's AP Top 25 that was excluded from last night's CFP rankings. And where it's going to be difficult for the Dukes is South Florida is the lone group of 5 team in the CFP rankings.
That's right.
And as the committee chairman, Mac Rose, the Baylor athletic director, explained to us last night on a subsequent media call, James Madison was and is in the conversation for the top group of 5 spot, along with South Florida, Tulane, Memphis, and others from the American, maybe Boise from the Mountain West. But what is killing the Dukes is strength of schedule. And really all you have to do is look at it. You really don't even need numbers.
Yeah.
And South Florida has a win over a P4. South Florida beat Florida. And South Florida also beat Boise out of conference. And then you look at who South Florida might face in the American Championship game, Tulane. Tulane beat Duke and Northwestern. So its strength of schedule is much better than James Madison. So what JMU's hope is to win out, which is not a given. The Dukes would have to win 4 more, 3 in the regular season, and then the Sun Belt Conference Championship game, and then have some mischief in the American, and have some teams get upset, such as South Florida and Tulane.
Well, and you can watch the eyeball test and you can see James Madison belongs in a little higher respect than that. But I get, what you're saying is all true. And it's all in USF hands, isn't it? If they just go ahead and take care of business, they're going to be that team out of the group of 5 to get in.
I think they will, because they would most likely play Tulane in the championship game, which would give them another boost.
Yeah.
And they're going to get a little strength of schedule boost because they play a good, not great Navy team.
That's right.
This week on the road. So a challenging game for the Bulls and midshipmen and that offense are never an easy chore defensively.
Notre Dame still their only loss. Is that right for Navy? I think that's right. Maybe
no,
they
lost to North Texas.
That's right. Well, it's not going to change the kind of season and really the demand for Coach Chesney. I know that people understand what he's doing down in Harrisonburg, despite the fact that they likely won't make the playoffs. So
it will not change the demand for him, Rick. In fact, if you're hoping that your school can get Bob Chesney, you probably prefer that he not be in the playoffs.
That's a great point. Yeah, be available earlier.
Correct.
Well, I don't know where you want to go with the Tech coaching search. Time frame, has it changed? Has it moved in your mind? You think they're still on a trajectory here? What have you got for us, the latest?
I don't know if there is a latest.
I think you're right.
I think that Virginia Tech is awaiting some answers from what we all presume is the leading candidate in James Franklin. And James Franklin and his people are playing it coy and seeing what else might open out there. Looking at you, Tallahassee.
Yes. It's going to be very interesting to see how all that plays out this weekend with Tech going down there. What else might be at stake for them? But
and Florida State, you either believe in Mike Norvell or you don't.
I know that whole announcement was weird.
maybe you wouldn't be in this financial bind if you hadn't spent all those millions suing the ACC and such. But hey, that's a conversation for another day.
Very true. Very true. Well, my contention all along is they could have taken care of this very early, just focused on one guy, and it's the guy we just mentioned. They've already let one former JMU coach go somewhere else, and now he might be the best coach in the country. I think they should have just focused on that immediately. I think he's going to be a slam dunk wherever he goes. I think he's been great in Blacksburg, and he still could be great in Blacksburg long term. Bob Chestnut. That's my take. But we'll see.
He wins. I mean, and I think, as we've mentioned before, Rick, the wild thing is it's been so linear, the progression. Division III, Division II, FCS, FBS. And it's been nothing but an upward trajectory.
Right.
Yeah. I mean, it's been step by step. He did not skip a single level. Killed it at every single stop. And at the first three, at Salve Regina, then Assumption, and then Holy Cross, took over programs in the dumps.
Yes.
And immediately flipped them. Now, at James Madison, he took over a program that obviously has a culture of winning, but a roster that had been ravaged by the portal because Kurt Cignetti took all his horses.
That's right.
To Bloomington, where, by the way, they are still kicking backside. So, I mean, props to Chesney and his staff for replenishing the roster, a lot with Holy Cross transfers and essentially not missing a beat. Now, yes, they went 4-4 in the Sun Belt last year, and that's not up to their standards, but they went undefeated in the non-conference,
right?
Destroyed North Carolina in measure, cost Mac Brown his job, and then won the program's first bowl. So still, hell of a start for Chesney at 9-4 last season, and they're, I would say, incrementally better this season.
Absolutely. David Teel, the Hall of Famer, joining us on the program. We're breaking down all different topics here as we get caught up on everything that's going on. I agree. And I remember when Matt Roan was on last, he was breaking down specifically what happened in Holy Cross and what he walked into and what he did there. Because you talk about a program that was maybe under the dirt, even at that level, there's zero resources, and he got them winning immediately, like you said. And that's
consistent playoff team in Holy Cross.
Remarkable. Right. Yeah, remarkable. Virginia, the ACC as a whole, football-wise, it took some blows. I mean, Virginia, we've talked about the near misses, and it caught up with them. Wake gets blown out the week before, Tallahassee, and then goes in there. We know Wake's well coached and they're capable. Mm-hmm. What's your take on the Cavs' close loss to Wake this past weekend?
Well, Tony Elliott said afterward, in regards to the Wake Forest game, we played with fire and we got burned. But you could apply that to the entire season. They've been playing with fire for weeks, to win 3 overtime games and essentially win a 1-score game on the West Coast against Cal. The only reason that's a 10-point game at the end is Cam Robinson's pick 6 there with under a minute to go. So the Cavaliers have been living on the edge, and they finally teetered. And they came a week after Wake Forest lost by 42 to a bad or underachieving as a Florida State team. Was disappointing to say the least, because now the Cavaliers do have an ACC loss and they're lumped in with everybody else. There's a 5-way tie in the loss column. There's 2 other teams 1 game behind. We do have the possibility, Rick, of a 7-way tie atop the ACC at 6-2. It's unlikely, but it's absolutely plausible. You don't have to come up with some outrageous results to have 7 teams at 6-2 at the end of the regular season.
Right.
And then you have to identify 2 to play in your championship game. That tiebreaker, by the way, I have parsed all the numbers, would favor Duke and Louisville.
Really? Okay. I was going to ask. That's good. See, you've already done their work for them. Just call Teal. What do we got? Okay, Duke.
Oh, yeah, I've already talked with the ACC staff about this.
Okay, good. Duke and Louisville. All right. Well,
but Virginia, should it end up in a tie at 7-1 with SMU and the winner of the Pitt Georgia Tech game, would in almost all certainty qualify for Charlotte based on various tiebreakers. So pretty much Virginia controls its destiny if it wins its final two, much like Georgia Tech. Georgia Tech for certain,
right?
If it beats Boston College and then beats Pittsburgh, Georgia Tech will be in the ACC championship game. I can guarantee you that much.
Yeah, that's shaping up maybe in retrospect to be the biggest game, right? When Georgia Tech and Pitt play, considering if they both go ahead and take care of business, man, that's huge. What a job, Coach Norman. What did you think, by the way? He got a lot of pushback with the Notre Dame question. I know you saw it.
Well, it was a bad question.
It's a bad question, right?
To begin with, his answer was worse.
It was the way he handled it, because it was almost like he was offended at the question, so he kind of lashed out.
Yeah,
with that answer.
So bad question. Of course, it's not a must win.
No.
And you're playing whatever the number 8, 10 team in the country, and it's a non-conference game. So silly question. You know, a flippant answer.
A flippant answer, yeah,
is probably the best response.
Yeah, he could have answered it. Yeah.
Boy, Pitt could do the ACC a huge solid by winning that game. And it'll be fascinating to see because, you know, Pitt's on this 5-game heater, you know, with Mason Heinscheld at quarterback now. But those 5 teams that the Panthers beat are terrible.
Yeah.
And this will be the first time they've faced some real competition. And that's what's going to be interesting about noontime in the Steel City on Saturday.
I know the ACC, you just mentioned, you talked about the parity. Nothing really should surprise us, but I got to be honest, David, I was genuinely surprised at that Cal-Louisville result. That after watching them against Tech, especially, talking about Cal and Louisville.
And Louisville, right.
Where did that come from? I mean, Jeff Brom seemed flabbergasted after the game, didn't he? He was just.
He should have been, but that's on him and his staff and his
absolutely
players.
Yeah.
And, you know, and Jeff Brom gets a lot of credit for Louisville pulling a lot of upsets.
Sure.
And richly deserved. But, man, there are times when they just do not show up. And, you know, and this is at home. And you're chasing, you know, you're in the mid-teens in the CFP rankings, and you've got this Saturday night primetime game,
right?
And you can't close the deal against a team coming from the West Coast. Just a bad look. And for all the talk of, and I know Brom is a terrific quarterbacks coach, but Miller Moss is not the answer.
No.
That guy can't move. And you give him a clean pocket and a lot of time, and he will pick you apart.
Sure.
But if you make that cat move his feet, it's not going to happen. And that is what several opponents have been able to do.
Yeah, you know, James, you did that in that matchup when they.
Oh yeah,
you know,
and so did UVA.
Yeah, right. Well, it's going to be fascinating. Tech going down to Florida State. We don't know what we're going to get. Tech coming off the bye. That's tough. Those 2 bye weeks so close together. It's hard to know how that's going to affect the team, especially who's just trying to, you know, make as much impression as they can here late. But we'll see. What do you think in Tallahassee? Florida State, we just don't know. Those kids know what's going to happen down there, right?
No, I have no earthly idea what might transpire.
I know.
Saturday in Tallahassee. And heck, I have no idea what to expect when Miami comes to Blacksburg a week from Saturday.
Right.
You know, I found it interesting that last night in the CFB, Georgia Tech had been ahead of Miami in the rankings. And then Miami, on the strength of a home win over Stanford, suddenly leapfrogs Georgia Tech. I'm like, really? Just because they beat Stanford? Because Georgia Tech was idle last week.
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, I I didn't understand that, but
No.
whatever. It'll sort itself out.
Well, finally, let me ask you, hey, we are in the middle of college hoops. Just got back from Chapel Hill last night. What do you think about the league? Tech got a big win against Providence. Mike Young was on the show last week, and he said, we're not worried about getting better right now in terms of like playing these games. We're playing them to win because we know this is going to help us come March. He was all in on winning that Providence game. What have you say? I know it's early. It's impossible to know because of all the transition with rosters, but what do you like what you've seen early on?
Well, you mentioned the Hokies' overtime win against Providence up in Connecticut, where we had the Neo show, of Dallas goes off. I think it was 32, 33 in there. And, you saw the Tar Heels last night. You got the Luca show. And, Luca and Abdallas at Tech and Testa Ritter at UVA. Rick, they are among 24 international players who came directly into the ACC from overseas this season, many of them pros.
Wow.
Which just goes to show you the change in how college athletics does business. The fact that they are welcoming professionals into the college ranks, and their impact on the ACC this season is going to be huge. And, the Tar Heels have that win over Kansas. Duke has already beaten Texas. Couple missed opportunities last night. Florida State gave Florida all it wanted. Wake Forest was up late against Michigan, could not close the deal and lost in overtime. But I think all in all, a fairly encouraging start for the league.
Agreed. Carolina's going to suffer without Trimble. They're not the same team that played Kansas that we saw last night.
Especially on defense, right, Rick?
Yes. He might be the best on-ball defender in the league. He's talking to Wes Durham. He thinks he could be the best on-ball defender they've had there in many, many years, and I think he's probably right. So, but you're right. I tell you what, and you mentioned, Caleb Wilson. That guy is a dude.
Yeah, he will not be in Chapel Hill long enough to
Wave bye-bye to the draft after this year, Chapel Hill. Enjoy him while you have him. But where are you headed this weekend? Multiple places, I'm sure.
I am going to multiple games. I've got Troy and Old Dominion in a battle of 6 and 3 Sun Belt teams tomorrow night.
Very cool.
In Norfolk, and then head south Saturday morning to the Triangle to watch Duke and Virginia in an immense game. Rick, we have the possibility.
It is
of Duke winning the ACC championship with a 9-4 or even an 8-5 record.
Wow.
Which could leave the ACC completely out of the playoff. Completely out. Now, there's a scenario that would benefit James Madison. Could two group of 5 teams sneak in to the field?
That's right.
Again, unlikely, but absolutely plausible.
Wow, that's a great point. Boy, imagine if that happens. If they get left, oh my goodness gracious, that would be, you talk about a catastrophe.
That's a scar that lingers for a long time.
Wow. You're right. It's right there, isn't it? That could very well be and right now all evidence is pointing that could be the case with Duke, right? Because you just don't know now. Who is the best team? I don't know. Yeah. I have no idea. So, well, safe travels, my friend, and hopefully we can reconvene next week. We're traveling to Greenbrier and then down to South Carolina next week. So we'll see how it all goes for Raptors.
Sounds good, man.
All right, brother. Stay safe, man. Good stuff.
You too.
As always. All right, David Teel joined us, the Hall of Famer. Imagine that if Duke at 8-5 wins it, and then everybody's left out. Steven says Jackets all the way. Well, they got it right there in front of them. We'll see. Always great to talk to David Teel. I want to thank Family Fencing. Family Fencing, sponsor of our studio here in Reiner. 540-200-8294, familyfencingnrv.com. Thanks to Jason Green. Mark Hunley over at McClellan Chiropractic. He will pop you in all the right directions. Sponsor of our chat room, which explodes, even with bots. The Ready Set Fund, ReadySetFund.com. Reach out to Bob Christ at bobchrist11 at gmail.com. BOBCRIST 11. If you want to raise money for your squad like they did the Floyd County softball team, they already have a built-in text line ready for you to go. Travis Williams and Professional Door Incorporated sponsor our text line, which always blows up. I get more text after the show, which is fine. It's great. Couldn't respond to a lot of people last night because I was traveling and had the Radford game. So I did get all your messages, especially those of you about your T-shirt requests. I will try to reach out today. And if you're local, by the way, T-shirts are $20. If I can get them to you here, you can pick them up at Radford, at Edmondson, or wherever. $27 if shipped. Send a text message or DM, and thanks to everybody at Top Shelf up in Pulaski. National Bank member FDIC, the exclusive banking partner of BDST. They've been my bank for 35 years. Paul says, what? You're busy? Well, Ryan Pry, the attorney. Good question now, especially after talking to Teel, right? Who is going to be our BDST fan question of the week? Who's going to be in the ACC championship game? Ryan specializes in trusts and estate planning, by the way. Does a great job. Little River Heating and Air. Charles Lee, I know he's gotten several jobs from you that have watched. Thank you for that. 540-553-2971. Let him come take care of all the heat units in your house before you freeze. Jonathan Sweet, Tim Miller, everybody, Pulaski County Sports Entertainment. Can't say enough about the things that they've created, and this announcement has just exploded with the Pulaski County Speedway reopening announcement next spring. It's going to look great. It's going to be better than ever because of the people that are involved, Pulaski County Sports Entertainment. Just unbelievable. Unbelievable. Go to the NRV Super Bowl. Give them a call, 382-5525. Reserve your lane today. Lawson's Mobile Home Supply, 300 North Franklin Street in Christiansburg. Give James a call, 540-381-8011. Harvey's GM in Radford. I bought my last 3 vehicles from Brad Harvey specifically. You can use any of their great salespeople. They have a wonderful group down there. And we're getting results. I don't say this boldly, but I say this because I hear it from people who are sponsoring. They're getting results from being part of this program, and that makes me very happy. That's the whole point of the partnership. You know, we announced the new partnership sponsoring Marty and Rags segment on the Farm Bureau. Louise Baker sponsors Mike Burnup. Everybody who has committed to this program is seeing dividends, and that means that's all you. That's all you. So thank you for that. Thank you for that. Going back to the McClellan Chiropractic chat, let's use your sponsor money, Rick, to get a new mascot for Salem. Paul says, I wish I could start a news channel. I would call it Why. Hey, that's not a bad idea. And it would just be reports on things you scratch your head at. That's not a bad idea, Paul. Why Salem Yaks? Why ESPN Bet? Why? I like that. That's good. All right. So how do I present this without? All right. So on the ride down to Chapel Hill, I was communicating with a few people about what's going on with the coaching search, not only in Blacksburg, but other places. And I'm not going to bring all that to the table today. I've decided not to. Is there so much that I could cover? And my sources might be tuned in. They don't mind me talking about it, but I'm not going to. I don't like to throw out a bunch of things. I'm going to say this. You remember how I made the prediction that James Franklin, this was like 3 weeks ago, was going to be Virginia Tech's new coach? All I will say without saying too much is if I could retract that statement, I would from 3 weeks ago. I no longer feel that's going to be the case. And I might be proven to be wrong, but I think what I received yesterday and the detail behind it leads me to believe that that's not going to happen now. But we will see. Things can change, and just one phone call can change the whole thing around. The job has been there. Tech has not offered. It's not how business is done. They've talked parameters. They've laid out expectations from their side. That's what good agents do, like Jimmy Sexton. But I no longer feel like he is going to be the head football coach at Virginia Tech. Through all the smoke, through all the noise, through all the reports, many of them false, not by people on here. I'm talking about on social media, X, people that have no clue. I mean, zero clue. I have still maintained that he would be the coach. And I've taken that into every weekend, every opportunity. But I no longer feel like that's the case based on what I learned yesterday. Keep in mind, it's a slippery slope, and nothing is done until a name is reported signed on the contract. Until the agent leaks to all the national reporters out there in college football, and you start to see it, is it real? And then you see the announcement of a press conference. I do not believe James Franklin played Virginia Tech, Wayne. I do not. I don't believe Bruce Arians or Bud Foster are the kind of guys that you can play, if that makes sense. They went into this wide open. Now, did James Franklin emerge as the guy? Sure. Is he covering and is he crossing a lot of T's and dotting a lot of I's because of the situation Whit Babcock's put this program after the Brent Pry hire? Absolutely. Would he bring in more money, as Damien talked about? I believe people would be more excited over a name, a guy who built Vanderbilt, a guy who built Penn State. He had them in the playoff last year. But the conversations that I was having yesterday, I no longer feel like he's going to be the guy in Blacksburg. Now, am I saying it won't happen? No. I'm not saying it won't happen. But I would not make that statement now that I made 3 weeks ago. I reported this 2 weeks ago because of this same source, and you just heard David Teel say it. We had this tie-in before anybody else here on the show, Florida State and James Franklin. Just remember that. We did. We reported it 2 weeks ago. That's a job that he really covets. That job's going to come open. He'll be watching the game very carefully Saturday night. So no, I don't believe Tech's not going to allow themselves to be played. Tech's got a list. Tech doesn't just have that name at the list and everybody else is in the trash heap. Would they accept a call from Jimmy Sexton this morning and says, okay, we see the groundwork you've laid. We've thought about it a lot. To heck with these other plans we had waiting. We want to come to Blacksburg. Tech would say yes in a heartbeat. But Tech isn't sitting around resting on its laurels. People I talked to yesterday all said Tech is now, they're actively reaching out, talking to other folks, other agents. It's not just a one all-in thing. Tech isn't just sitting around waiting to be played. They're being aggressive behind the scenes. They know this is a good job. You just heard David Teel talk about the mess the ACC is in. Someone can come in and do this thing right and get to the playoff and have this league at its fingertips in short order. There's no dominant program. There's no team saturated with so much talent that it outweighs everybody else. Miami clearly has the most physical talent of anybody in this conference. They are completely, utterly, poorly coached by Mario Cristobal. And they brought in the highest paid transfer in the league. And he's a kid that turns out isn't that great of a player, Carson Beck. And Phil Almation said this 3 weeks ago. Coach, remember when you said, if Carson Beck was all that, Kirby Smart would have never let him leave at Georgia. He got beat out. You think Kirby Smart, where all the pressures in the world in the SEC, thought Carson Beck was the guy, he would have just let him go and replaced him on the field? Miami thought, well, he made a mistake. Miami's finding out Kirby Smart knew exactly what he was doing, living up to his last name. If you're in the SEC as a starting quarterback with as much talent as there is at Georgia, and they're willing to say bye-bye, get you off the field first, and then wait, that should be a red flag for teams. Miami is finding that out. He's never getting that team back. I don't know how they're going to finish their season, but he threw the coaches and his teammates under the bus. They have no respect for him, and I'm going to be interested to see how Miami finishes out now. They have so much talent. Surely on talent alone, they can beat teams, but are those guys just going to be bought in for each other? I don't know. But what I'm saying is Tech's in a good position, and I've maintained that all along. They're going to get a good football coach. In Bruce and Bud, I trust. And if you're a Tech fan, you should. I have never once, even when I was almost assuredly thinking it was going to be James Franklin, did I have ever once thought that it's James Franklin or bust. Does that make sense? I thought the fit was perfect. It seemed to be coming together pretty quickly early, but I don't think it's, oh, he's the only guy who can make this a winning program again. I've told you who I want. There's a difference in predicting somebody you think is going to take the job and then being the guy that I think is the choice. And for me, that's Bob Chesney. For your next AD, that should be Matt Roan. You heard David Teel just now. Go look up Bob Chesney and what he's done in all the downtrodden programs. And then you got the JMU, and people are going to say, well, he lost 4 games in the conference. Okay, look how much talent Kurt Cignetti took with him in year 1 from Harrisonburg to Bloomington. And he still won 9 games. He went undefeated in the non-conference. And now here they are. It's likely not going to happen, but here they are, still involved in playoff talk. He had a strategy that he believed in, and this is what I like the most about Chesney, and I don't know him at all. He started the year with 2 quarterbacks. It wasn't working. After the Louisville game, he immediately ditched it and said, we're going to plan B. We're going to be fine. And when a guy has that much self-awareness, man, on top of being one hell of a football coach, with the resources that he has dealt with, he's got the best resources he's ever had in his career at Harrisonburg because he's had that many at his other stops. Imagine how that jump would feel from Harrisonburg to Blacksburg and what he could do with it in short order. And I've said all along, if anybody thinks it's not sexy, I get it. But have you watched JMU play the game of football? That's all. Have you watched them? If you don't want to watch them live, record their games and just watch them play. And you tell me how that would go over in Blacksburg in the ACC. Your eyes are usually the best measures of your truth, right? You can't listen to somebody say something because, like Willy Wonka, he could be faking a gimp leg and he may roll forward and show you he's completely healthy. But boy, your eyes tell you a lot. And I know the people that are here know enough about sports. We're not just stupid. We know what good football and what things look like. You don't watch James Madison play and not see good football. And I've maintained it from day one. The easiest decision and the best decision, in my opinion, they could make would be go down to get Bob Chesney. And Witt's got to get out of there and then go get Matt Roan. Bob Chesney will not be the James Madison coach in 2026 in all likelihood. And do you want that to be somewhere else like Curt Cignetti? Do you want to live through that again? Hiring a football coach, especially in this day and age, to be successful is extremely hard. Missing on football coaches that could change your trajectory, not only on the field, but financially in your department twice, is Armageddon that you cannot recover from. They've already blown it once with Cignetti. He was right here. Meant to ask Teel about that moment on Saturday. I think it's been the best moment of the college football season. Indiana, playing for perfection, found itself maybe in an unexpected deficit in Happy Valley, drove the full length of the field, had the most dazzling catch in the end zone we're going to see all season, and came back to win that game. I see you in RB Thunder. I think that's the best moment of the college football season so far. And what made it even more impactful was Cignetti after the game, who never shows any emotion. I mean, he lost it. Talking to whoever it was, he had to pause, and you could see his eyes well up. You imagine having that kind of guy in Blacksburg? What that would have done? And instead, they hire somebody with zero head coaching experience because he was going to come cheaply. The old saying, you get what you pay for, is usually true. I've maintained that from day one. What I think should happen and what they're going to do could be, and likely will be, two different things. And I know that even if he's your guy, you're going to want to talk to other people. But I think Alex Golesh at USF is going to end up somewhere else. I believe John Sumrall is going to be a candidate mentioned at Auburn and other places, Arkansas, at the head coach at Tulane. He's going to be a Power 4 coach. Golesh is going to be a Power 4 coach. I believe both of those guys could be on Tech's list. Why wouldn't they be? They're on everybody else's list. They're going to be really successful coaches, I think, at the next level. Yes, Wade. I will say that Tech will not be getting Brian Kelly. Breaking news. And I've answered a lot, and I just got 2 text messages. Why are you so down on Franklin? It's not necessarily I'm down on Franklin. If Tech hires him, look, here, let me preface this. If they hire James Franklin, he's going to turn the roster upside down immediately with talent. I think they're going to win, but it's not going to be a long-term solution. This is not his final destination if he comes here. I'm not saying that Bob Chesney would make Tech his final destination, but I think it's a lot more likely he would be here for a longer amount of time. And we here on the show, Joe Mason and I, he agrees. He's thought about it. He's looked into it. And now we've got a little evidence. For those of you who just hit me up on text, I'll ask you the same question. If you're so dead set that it has to be Franklin, why did Penn State so willingly say bye-bye to a guy who had him in the damn playoff last year? As soon as adversity hit this year, he lost the team. I agree with Coach Elmo. Something happened on the flight back from UCLA. Then they go out and they lay an egg against Northwestern at home. He's standing on the field after the game, knowing that was his final game in Happy Valley, just kind of staring off into the distance. And then the next day, he's fired. Why is Penn State and a new AD coming out of the Sandusky scandal a decade earlier willing to say bye-bye to that guy that many of you think is going to be the immediate savior in Blacksburg? Answer that question. We got some answers from the team themselves. Players that came in out of the portal, it's not like they've been at Penn State. Not one player has come forward to say, man, I can't believe they got rid of Coach. What did they say? Our head coach wasn't bought in like we were recruited to be when we got here. I don't know exactly what that means, but when you have players who are making high 6-7 figures and they're saying that about the departed coach, that's a problem. They had the $50 million from donations 48 hours after he was fired. So I'm asking you, you asked me the question. I just given you my reasoning. And I don't shy away from any of these questions. You asked me, those of you, then I'm guessing the way the two questions were phrased just now on the Professional Door text line, you are dead set it's got to be Franklin. Okay. Why? I'm referencing Coach Elmo a lot here, aren't I? Because maybe that guy knows what he's talking about. Give us the James Franklin at Vanderbilt, and I'm completely on board. Before he was a rock star, when he was committed to changing around the culture of a program like he did in Nashville, give me that guy. Don't give me Penn State guy. Because Penn State guy evolved into something else. Penn State recognized it. When big changes like that come, and you can't always get accurate info, but you can get a vibe what's going on. Like you can go to Tech Sidelines message board at any time and get a vibe on what people think about the program. I didn't see any negativity toward Penn State making the move to can James Franklin. And this isn't from a fan base like an SEC fan base who expects to be in the national championship every year like an LSU or Alabama or Florida. We're not talking about fans that have completely unrealistic expectations. Do they have expectations at Penn State? Yeah, they're a blue blood. Of course they do. The guy was in the freaking playoffs last year, and they couldn't wait to get him out. Why? And you want that guy to come in here and command $10 or $12 million a year and bring all that with him without vetting other coaches? Okay. Be careful what you wish for. How many people down in Baton Rouge immediately regretted Brian Kelly when he went out there with that fake Cajun accent at the basketball game? He's never lived that down. He wasn't authentic. He wasn't real. He wasn't dedicated to that part of the country or that school. He's about Brian Kelly. Is James Franklin going to come to Blacksburg, settle into this culture where one of his proteges failed? Is he going to adapt what the New River Valley and Southwest Virginia is all about? I know he knows about it recruiting. He's done well here. And I understand that argument. I get it. He knows how to recruit here. Obviously, he's stolen the best players from the state. Is he going to be that guy? Is he going to humble himself? Or is it going to be Justin Fuente and the ego that he brought here all over again? And do you want that again? Remember, he was a slam dunk hire. 5-star recruit. Whit Babcock, the guy who hired him, said that. Didn't work out. Brent Pry was far from a 5-star recruit. Didn't work out. So the pressure is on to bring in a name like Franklin. I get it. I understand it. He's in the Big Ten. He's at Penn State. Surely he can win here. Yeah. Brian Kelly was at Notre Dame, the job of all jobs. Couldn't win at LSU enough. He won, just couldn't win enough. James Franklin would not have to have that kind of record at Tech to be revered, but can he get them over the top? Would he get them over the top? Would he be dedicated? We don't know. Virginia Tech's a good enough job, and I'm going to say this until I'm blue in the face. It's got everything in place. It doesn't need to fall in love with one guy. I guarantee you nobody on that committee is sitting there going, it has to be James Franklin. What are we going to do? No. They're doing their work. They know what they're doing. Bruce and Bud know what the hell they're doing. I've maintained that from day one. I haven't really worried about it. If Franklin comes, I think he can be successful, absolutely. But I think he's got to do a lot of adjusting. New rumor, Nick Saban to VT. He has ties to the area. Predictions. I know you don't want to get into the information you got yesterday on your trip to Chapel Hill, but what predictions do you have? What predictions do I have? I'm gonna change my prediction and say Bob Chesney will be the new football coach at Virginia Tech. How's that? I think James Franklin really wants a higher profile job than Virginia Tech. I think Michigan might be a surprise school that comes open. Dun, dun, dun. I think Lane Kiffin secretly wants the LSU job. These are my predictions. I think John Summerall will be the new head football coach at Auburn. I think Penn State is going to take a coach from a current school that has a old gold helmet, and it's not Notre Dame. I'll let you figure it out. One is in the SEC, the other one's in the ACC. All right. All this speculation will end when people start saying we're the new coach. Good stuff today. Thank you for getting me through it. I may have gotten 3 hours of sleep. I'm going to crash a little bit before I head to Radford. But I got energized here. Thanks to our guests, Kion Brown, Damien Sordelett, and David Teel. Please, if you haven't, subscribe to the channel. Spread the word. Remember, if one of you gets somebody else to subscribe, we'll be at our 1,000 threshold quicker, and we can relax. We're at 706. Thank you, all the new subscribers. And if you want a T-shirt, hit me up one more time today. Well, keep hitting me up more than once. $20 if I can get them to you in person, $27 if shipped. Enjoy the rest of your hump day. We'll see you tomorrow on the Thursday edition, everybody. Take care. Godspeed. And I hope you slide over the hump safely and successfully. We'll